Hey friends, it's Ashley and today I am here to share a flip through of my 2021 December daily album with you. I was part of the Allie Edwards December daily creative team this year. This year was the first time they did a separate December daily team, and there were some really talented ladies. I loved working with them and seeing what they created. I used a few of their ideas in my album, some ideas of my own, some ideas from Allie. So I really love that you can kind of put your own album together, take things from other people, make them yours, or do your own thing too. I used the 10x8 album this year. It was new. Last year I used a 6x8, and I wanted to try out the 10x8 just to see if it made it easier for me to keep everything in one album, which it did. It's still pretty thick, but I really liked using it. I was worried if I would be able to fill the space, but I ended up being able to get the 10x8 pages the way I wanted them, and I really liked using it. So this might be something that I use next year or in future years. I'll just have to see what I'm feeling for my album that year, but I'm gonna get started to go ahead and start sharing my pages. My opening page, it's got a little flip here. I just did like one of the die cut pages. This already had the circles in it, and so I just added some little embellishments here. And one of the transparency sheets, I think I cut this one down just a little bit, and I always like to use the tabs. This was a trick that I learned from Allie many December dailies ago. So these little Avery index tabs are always fun to use. I did not add anything to the back of this. I may at some point go back and do that, but I just left it the way it was. So that's open for debate whether I go back and do that or not. This is my reason why page. I used one of the 10x8 papers, and I don't know if I can get this untied, but it has a little vellum flap, and I think this little tag here with the star was actually from the star kit. Let's see if I can get my twine to come undone. That's one of the hazards of the interactive, is trying to get it on camera to come undone. There we go. So I just tied it with some black and white twine and added that little star piece with the tag. And then you can see it just flaps open, and I have my reason why. This is the 6x8 Alpha, and I just used it digitally and changed the color to red. So it's fun to use some of those digitals also with your physical product. This is my day one page. I use a mix of different numbers. I use some of the wood veneers, some stickers, some other things that I had in my stash, but for day one I used one of the new wood veneers for this year. And these are just the little window pockets. I did our Christmas ornaments that we picked up this year, and then I just put everybody's initial on the little window card, our name, our age, and then what ornament that we picked up. So I thought that was really fun, and I liked the grid paper. It was perfect for this. And then I just added my journaling here. And this last one, let's see if we can get that one open. Yep. So just 5 of us and our 5 different ornaments. For day 2, I always put this out. This is the ceramic tree that my grandparents had, and my sister had it for a little while, but when they both passed, this was kind of the only thing that I wanted to keep from them, and I kind of had lost track of where it went, but when my sister, I found out she had it, she ended up letting me have it, which I'm very thankful for, because it was one of my favorite things about Christmas at their house. So I kind of wanted to do like a past, present, and future about the tree. So I kind of created some pockets, and then I cut these tags and just added my journaling to the back to tell about what went on as far as the past with the tree, how I felt about it, for the present, and then for the future. So these are all just the same little tag with the journaling, and I cut these on my Silhouette Cameo with the past, present, and future there. My day 3, this was actually my lesson for the product play this year, creating some fun interactive little flaps for your photos and using the die cuts as your little turner here. I actually put some transparency in between the photos, so it looks like the little die cut tag is kind of floating. And then you can see, you can just use it to flip your photos there. And I have the full lesson in the product play class if you haven't gotten a chance to check that out, and you're still working on your album and want to do that. I will leave a link in the description box below if you want to check that out. This is day 4, and this was actually inspired by Shu Wen, who was on the team also. She used this little, this was the star kit packaging, and she actually used it to create this little flip up. And my day 4 was actually about the creative team this year, being on the team, and so I had used some of the Paisley Press mini kit, and then I saw Shu Wen's, because I had already set this up, and when I saw what Shu Wen created, I was like, oh, I have to go back and do that. So she has a tutorial on her YouTube channel, and I will link that below also. But she just created a fun little pocket here, and this was great for adding in some of the, just some of the stuff about being on the team, just different things that we did. This is actually in a pocket here. The email that I got about being on the team, all of the ladies that were on the team this year, and then some of the kind of events that we had, like product play, the back to basics, and things like that. So if you want to figure out how to do that, Shu Wen has the tutorial, and like I said, I will link that for you to check out. And then, like I said, I just used the Paisley Press mini kit to do this page, and I added some of the cute little puffy stickers that were part of that kit. Day 5 was inspired by Sabrina. She is Miss Scrap and Plan on Instagram, and she did this really fun bookshelf, and I wanted to do that for the books that I was planning to read over December. And so I actually used a cut file from the cut shop. This is called, I think, On My Shelf, and it's in the cut shop store. So I cut it from like a wood grain cardstock, and then I used some Distress Oxide ink that I just kind of swiped over, and it brought out that wood grain pattern. And then I just decorated. Sabrina had a good idea that on the 6x8 alpha stamp this year, she used like the eye for like some of her books, which worked out perfectly. So I stole her idea because it was so fun. And then I did my books. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books in December. And I just created like a little flip open where I could add how many stars I gave the book, and then just kind of like my review of the book. So I did one for each of those. And I thought that turned out really cute. I like the way that that turned out. And then my day 6 was all about my coffee mugs. I have a coffee mug obsession. So for this one, I used a, this is a pocket page, and I think these pockets are 3x3. And I'm not sure what the full size of this was when I started, but I did cut it down some. And I used my We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool to kind of fuse some of these edges once I put my confetti in. I just used some sequin mixes that I bought on Etsy. And then I did each of my mugs that I had, and these were the little transparent hearts. And we actually did a little Instagram hop with these on how we were using them. And so I just put those over the clear pockets with the sequin mixes. And I just did back and front to fill in those pockets the same that I had on the front side. Day 7 is my holiday movie page. We always like to watch the same movies every year, and then usually some of the streaming services will release a new movie. So we usually add those in. These are mostly some of my favorite classics, the ones that I've been watching for like years and years and years. And these little film strips were really cute this year, and as soon as I saw those, I knew that they would be perfect for like my movie page. And so I just put some transparency piece in between these, and these are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual of the film strips. And so I started by stitching the front ones together. I put the transparency piece behind that first set, and then added this second set. And I didn't stitch on these, I just adhered these. And then I put a list, I just printed out the movies on transparent sticker paper and added those there to go with the coordinating numbers on the pictures. Day 8 was about our gingerbread houses this year. This was another kind of idea that I saw that Allie did, and I used the first little center circle here for my number, and then since there are 5 of us, it worked out perfectly to have the other photos here. And I kind of did a repeat, so you can see I did a sticker with a star on each one of our pictures, and then a star with our initial on each of those. And then I kind of messy stitched around all of the circles there. And I just left that one blank on the back side. because I knew that my day 19 through 13 was going to be one whole set, because that was when we were going to be gone on a trip. So instead of doing individual pages for our trip, I decided to use the canvas pockets, which I really love these. They add some great texture to your book, and they're actually individual. So this was a 2 tag canvas pocket. This is a 1 tag, and then this is a 2 tag also. And I was thinking about how I wanted to document our trip, and I was also thinking about how I wanted to use these canvas pockets. So I decided to stitch them together, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I just stitched with some white thread, making sure I overlapped enough to make them adhere together. So I just did that on all 3 sets of the tags, and I stitched right here for this one so that they would stay together. And then I thought, how can I put the number on here to make it kind of fun and go along with like that canvas look? So I decided to stamp them, and this is the 6x8 number set for this year. And I used some of the inks from Allie. I can't remember the colors off of the top of my head, but I can put those in the description box to let you know what those ink colors are. And then I used the little tags, and so I decided I would do 1 photo for each day of our trip. And I did my journaling, and I printed this on transparent sticker paper so I could add it to the tags. And then I just did a photo for each day. And I switched up my text color. I just sampled colors actually from these tags when I set up my journaling, and so I was able to kind of like mix that up and use the different colors of the ink. So I thought that was really fun. And then I finished all of the tags with a little bit of washi tape and some ribbon here that I had in my stash. So this was a bigger tag, so I was able to do a little bit more journaling and a larger photo here. This was actually a trip to Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg. So we had a really good time, and it was Christmassy, so it was really fun going to Dollywood and seeing all the Christmas decorations and everything. So I will put those back in off camera. On the back side of this, I just did a little circle because I had actually stamped on the back side of this pocket to test how the ink would take to the canvas pockets, and I wanted to cover that up. So this was just a little quote by Roald Dahl, and the little wreath here, and just some of the layered stickers. So for day 14, I used another one of the die cuts, and I liked having a mix of different sized pages in my album. A lot of them, as you can see, are 10x8. This is actually sized to fit the 6x8 album, but I like having the different lengths of paper and not having everything exactly the same size. So since this was December Moments, I just kind of did a little bit of journaling, and I used one of the stamp sets that had the little phrases. So for the first one, I did Love the Lights. Number 2, I did Loathing. Number 3, I did Gathering. And number 4, Trying My Best. I also used a number from previous years. This was just a white cardstock number, and I embossed on it with gold glitter powder, and I thought that was really cute, making it a little bit shiny. And on the back side of this, I did a full-size photo. I had actually bought this mug at Target. This was the Santa mug that they had out for this year. I made it home with it. It was the last one they had. I had not been able to find any online, and I brought it home. I had the bag in my hand, and I was moving all the bags from my hand to the countertop, and when I did, the bag slipped out of my hand and it just broke into like 20 pieces. So I was pretty upset, but I was able to end up finding some at a different Target, thankfully, and online. So I ended up getting 2. I had one for myself, and I did one for a giveaway, so everything ended up being okay. But I really wanted to document that on the back side of the December Moments die cut page. Day 15 was my wrapping paper. This is always a fun thing to include in my album. I just like to see the different wrapping papers that I get every year. This was a digital from maybe last year or 2 years ago that Allie did, and I just cut this from gold glitter paper and then added some star embellishments here on the front side. And then on the back, I did some of the gifts that we gave the kids this year, and I just printed these out from some screenshots online, and added them to some circles over the stars, and just put each of their names on a little printed piece that I printed and cut out. Day 16, I just used one of the Tim Holtz. These are metal numbers that I had from years past, and I really liked these pockets. They were really cute, so I knew I wanted to use these. And every year our church does at least 3 different mission initiatives during the holiday season. We always do Toss a Turkey, where we help families through one of our food banks with turkeys, pies, and hams. So we were able to do that right before Thanksgiving. Sharing Hope, we buy gifts for kids in some of the poorer areas of the cities where our church, sister church is, and the parents get to go and kind of shop and get things for their kids for Christmas. And then we also help local families just by kind of sponsoring them for Christmas if they need help with like Christmas trees or food or gifts for their kids. And this year we got a Christmas tree for one of the families that we helped, and so I was able to get all 3 of those documented just on this one day here. Day 17 was our Christmas parade. We went for that morning, and I had created this page ahead of time because I wanted to do some embossing with the star stamp, and I really liked having the layered stars with the paper, having the stars, and then I did some embossing, and then I used some of the die cut stars and some of the chipboard stars. So this page is all about the stars. And this is also from the die cut papers. And so I had this all set up, and I didn't know what I would use as far as a photo on this page. But when I snapped this picture of Santa at the end of the parade, it kind of worked perfectly. And then I just added my journaling to the photo before I printed it out. And I kind of made it a flip so I could add another photo. This was just a picture of Emma at the parade, and I really like the way that that's kind of interactive with a little star flip out. So that turned out kind of fun. Day 18 is a page that was inspired by Neela, and this was the one that we did for the Instagram hop, where we used these little transparent hearts. And Neela had done this idea where she created kind of like a wreath with the hearts, and when I saw her page I was like, ooh, I have got to do that. So, and it's a good way to use up the hearts also. And so I used the transparent hearts, I used some of the little cork hearts, and then also one of the pleather hearts on this page. And this was just about the Christmas with the Chosen movie that we watched. And so I just did the photo in the center with one of the nested chipboard frames, and then added my journaling to a little card that I cut down right here in the corner. Day 19, this is another thing that Allie usually does in her albums, where she includes like a little tag of, you know, each of her family members and their name, their age at the time, and then kind of like either what they're wishing for Christmas or something that's going on currently. So I decided to do that this year, and this is another one of the canvas pockets that I used. And I actually did an iron-on transfer with this. The December was from the prep day class, and I just printed it onto the iron-on transfer paper and ironed that onto the little pocket. And then the tags were from, I think these are also from prep day. They were digital, so I just printed these out, and it has the, like I said, name, age, wishing for, and thankful for. And then I just added a photo of each one of us to the back side of those, all in black and white, just to have it coordinate. And then I used a mix of different ribbons just to add some interest, to not have everything the same on that. And those are always fun to have and look back on, just to see what everybody said from year to year. Day 20 is our Christmas card. I actually printed out the full Christmas card just the way I sent it. So we all did a photo with our ugly Christmas sweaters this year, and I just set this up in Adobe Illustrator, and this is exactly what our card went out looking like. But I wanted to have some other embellishments, so I used this little envelope, and I cut the triangle part of it off because I wanted to have this little journaling piece slip out. And I just used some of the digitals again on the back of this, and did my journaling here that I can add into the envelope piece. And then since my card was a little bit shorter, I did add a pattern paper down here to kind of finish that out. And then I just printed this quote because I think, I'm trying to remember, I think I had maybe used part of this or something as a pattern paper somewhere else. But for some reason I needed it digitally, so I just printed this page out as a digital and added it to the back side of my photo. I liked the quote with the photo, so that worked out perfectly. For my day 21, I used one of the transparent 6x8 papers. If you can see that, it has little gold stars behind it, or on it actually. That's how the transparency already came, with the little stars on it. I'll put this behind to see if you can see it. I think those are actually, yeah, those are gold. So it has the gold stars on it. And I wanted to use the Calm and Bright, I'm not sure, I guess these are kind of cardstock phrases, but they have kind of a shiny glitter finish on them. And so I stitched that right to the transparency piece. And then I wanted to use some of the die cut stars to go over this. And this was from our Christmas party with my family. So I changed all of the pictures to black and white, and then I was able to add those into the center of each of the bigger stars that I used, and then just some embellishments in the other ones. And I left that blank on the back. I didn't think that I needed to do anything to the back side of that, so I just left it the way it was. Day 22 is my holiday playlist, and I actually have another process video for how I put this together, so I will link that at the top for you if you want to check that out. This was the 6x8 alpha stamp, but the digital version that I used to set up my holiday playlist title here, and I show how I put this all together in the video. But I used another one of the 6x8 papers. This one just has some gold dividing lines, and I did also do some embossing here with the numbers. This was one of the number sets, or number stamp sets that has a mix of different numbers on it. So I stamped with the gray ink and then embossed the numbers over that with some black embossing powder. And then I just did kind of screenshot pictures of some of my favorite artists or songs that I listen to at Christmas time. And then I did finish off the back side of this because I had a lot of songs that I wanted to include, so I was able to fit 14 of the songs on here with a mix of embellishments. So I really liked having all of the fun different embellishments mixed in with the covers of like the albums that I screenshotted and printed out. So that came out really fun. Day 23, this is another use of the digital alpha set. I just did the word joy and blew the letters up really big and welded those together. And then I took out the center of the O. I really liked that there were some citrus type embellishments in this year's design. And so I had these layered stickers, and I knew I wanted to use those and then also play with the poinsettia layered stamp. So I created a wreath around the O with a mix of those stamps and layered embellishments, some fussy cut pieces. And once I got that on, then I created the banner just using some twine, and I stamped to the world and just cut that where it would look like a little banner. And this was our candlelight service, and I had already had an idea that I wanted to use this for that photo, and so I was able to add the photo to the center there. And I did finish off the back side of this. I just reversed the joy, and this is printed as a digital paper, so the color was a little bit different, but I didn't mind so much since it was on the back side. And then to finish it, I just added one of the pattern papers to make that same little banner look, just to have that side finished off to make it look a little more clean. For day 24, for Christmas Eve, I did that same thing that I did earlier, the embossing, but this time I used the black embossing powder on this white chipboard number just to add some contrast. And I had layered this over some of the nested pieces just to create kind of like a fun little look for my number there. And I usually don't tell just like one story on Christmas Eve. I like to have a mix of, I guess it is kind of one story. It's like tradition, So the things that we do like on Christmas Eve day, which is usually have something that I make special for breakfast. We watch some Christmas shows or movies. We make some kind of like sweets. So these were Oreo truffles. The kids did some cookies that night, and then they always get their Christmas pajamas on Christmas Eve. So I used these nested chipboard frames as kind of just places to add my photos and some embellishments. And so that worked out really well, having those spots ready for my photos. And then for the back side, I used a full 10x8 photo of them in their Christmas pajamas. And I really just wanted the photo for this, so I didn't even add anything else to it. I just left it as the full photo. And then for Christmas morning, for day 25, I used the big red numbers, and I just kind of stitched these together so it would make it as one number. I had some gold thread, so I kind of stitched it right here and down bottom, kind of on that same line, so you wouldn't be able to really tell that I had stitched it. I had this acrylic piece from Color Cast Designs, so I wanted to put that on top of the number, and I just used some, I think I used some glossy accents from Heidi Swap to add that. And this is another one of the 6x8 papers. So I did our tree. I usually like to take a picture of the Christmas tree with all of the gifts under it. So I did that with the, this was just a, I'm trying to think what this was out of. I think this was out of maybe another 6x8 paper, the wreath that I fussy cut out and then layered it over this piece. And then on the back side of that, I used it to document a big photo of us. We always read the Christmas story from Luke 2 before we open presents, and we usually do it by the Christmas tree, but this year we did it in the living room. So I just snapped a photo of kind of everybody in their various states of how they were sitting. And then I just added another one of the little window cards with my journaling over the top of the photo here. And then this was actually another page that was inspired by Sabrina. She does like a collage every year for her day 25. So this was another hop that we did using these fun little sequin tags. They're vellum, and then they have stars inside of them. And so I set this up kind of on a diagonal, and I went ahead and set it up with the tags and the pattern paper, and then left spaces for my photos because I knew I wanted it to be a page with a photo of each of the kids with their gift that they got. And then I just finished it with some of the chipboard little talk bubbles here over each of the tags. And then the last part of my album is kind of the mess, the after Christmas mess of like what everything looks like. And I just snapped this of Tyler and Reese in the foyer area, which is where our big tree is. Kind of the look of everything that they took out, and I used the digital alpha again to put this on the Until Next Year 364, and then a little wood veneer for Color Cast Designs. And then at the back I used this little pouch. This is just one of the ones that has the little string, if I can get it, that opens up. And I think this didn't have product in it. I think it was a part of the release, but I always like to include Christmas cards. And so I just put all of our Christmas cards in here for this year, and then that way I'll have those as a part of my 2021 album. So that finishes up the look of my flip through. I know some of you are still working on your album. Some of you will do the done by December and try to get done before this next Christmas comes up. And I know some of you have finished. So I hope you were inspired by some of the things that I did in my album. And if you're still working, you might want to try some out. If you're done, maybe save some of the ideas for your album this coming year. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to become a new subscriber. If you liked today's video, please leave a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.